Welcome in to the Golden Boot Podcast. I'm your host, George Hancock, joined tonight by, today, whatever time of day it is, Vandy Chris, Cody Slavinsky, as always. And I'm depressed, very depressed, because as an Arkansas fan, we have to talk about the Texas Longhorns. I just got to start out this video the way that I should start out. Horns down. That's right. Horns down. But seriously, though, all jokes aside, we're talking those Texas Longhorns. We're going to preview the season. We're going to preview the schedule, get it all laid out. Let's start out with the roster. Quinn Ewers, of course, the golden, shiny quarterback. He's up. He's down. He's had some injury issues. It really their entire success rides on his shoulders. I mean, because you do have a Manning sitting right behind you, ready.
Who I'm not very high on. Never been high on.
Yeah, I mean,
don't get me wrong. Very talented athlete.
Very talented. I'm
not sold. Sorry. I'm not.
Yeah. So, is with Texas first. This is brand spanking new conference. Texas being in the SEC for the very first time. A lot of people think they're going to dominate. I mean, we'll see. We'll definitely see. Let's break down the roster.
Yeah. So you got Quinn Ewers, who obviously very good quarterback. His biggest challenge, obviously, in his career is he's played Alabama twice, which, for being a non-conference guy, I mean, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, he played great in both games. Obviously, he got hurt in his first appearance against them, and they ended up losing the game after he started out very good. And then last year, obviously they went in and did very well in Tuscaloosa. The one thing I like about this Texas offense is they have a lot of returning guys that are not first-year guys playing for them. The only position that has new guys on offense is wide receiver. And they're stacked at wide receiver. So you got Isaiah Bond coming in from Alabama, who obviously great wide receiver, and he can be a good playmaker. And I feel like he got into a better situation going to Texas. You have Matthew Golden coming in from Houston. You have Silas Bolden coming in from Oregon State, who is a guy that I feel is ready to be in a high-powered type offense because he's got the skill to go to the next level. But one guy to look out for, Ryan Wingo, true freshman, coming in. He was number 5 nationally coming in this year. And in the spring game, he had 4 receptions, had, I believe, 81 yards in that for him. I think he's going to be a guy that you can't keep off the field this year. I think that he is going to be a difference maker. And then also you have Kelvin Banks Jr., who you got Will Campbell, you got Kelvin Banks Jr. Those are your top tackles in the upcoming draft class. And whichever one goes first or second, it doesn't matter because both are going to be fantastic at the next level. And I really like everything I see out of Kelvin Banks. He checks all the boxes, big guy, fast. I mean, he's just a very good athlete, and he's going to, anchor that offensive line. Offensively, I like Texas. That said, which, is the big thing to talk about, CJ Baxter, starting running back, out for the season. Fantastic running back, and honest to God truth, if he wasn't hurt, you would have to really say that Texas had no flaws in their offense.
Right.
And it is a shame that he went down the way he did because, I don't care if you like a team or if you hate a teteam. You don't want to see the guys get hurt and have their seasons ended like this. Like, it's truly a shame, and I wish him obviously the best in recovery, and I hate that he can't play, but it's next man up for Texas. Jaden Blue. It's his time to shine. He's ready to go. I mean, he's a very good running back. Obviously at this point he has no choice but to be a good running back. And I think that he will do the job. I think he will do enough to get them where they need to be. And do I see him being like a 1,000-yard rusher this year? Probably not. I think they're going to rely more on the passing game this year. Obviously they don't really have a choice anymore, but I think that he will get them some yards, and I think he'll have a very respectable season. You have Amari Niblack transferring in as a tight end. He's coming in from Alabama, very good tight end. I don't know if he's guaranteed the starting position because they have Gunnar Helm coming back, who is also a great tight end. Offensively, Texas fans have every right to be excited for it. They really. But then you go to the defensive side of the ball. They have, quite a few transfers coming in this class. And I believe that if Texas can get it together, that's going to be a scary team all around. You have Bill Norton coming in from Georgia, who is a freaking stud on the defensive line. You have Andrew Makuba coming in from Clemson, who straight up went on record the other day and said that they weren't developing him at Clemson. He was not growing as a player. So now he's at Texas. And that, man, I'll be honest, when he went into the portal and he put a no contact clause on himself, I was scratching my head because I was like, where is he going to go? And obviously, as an LSU fan, I was like, I had my fingers crossed. I was like, come on, I was like, this is a match made in heaven. Please come to LSU. When he announced Texas, I was sad because I really wanted him. He's that good. He has all the makings to be a first-round draft pick. He's got everything you need in a defensive back. Like he checks every box there is to check. Mm-hmm. This lineup is stacked. They really are. I mean, you saw last year, Texas's defense was, they were respectable. They kind of slipped up later in the year and all that. But I think that coming into the SEC this year, I feel that they have the team that is probably the most resembling of a classic SEC team. But their offense, though, that's what really shocks me is like how – at least the level of potential that's there with that offense anyway.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see what they're going to do this year.
Yeah. Chris, thoughts?
So when I look at Texas, I see a team that's going to be very, very good. I have them making the college football playoffs. I'll discuss what I think their record is going to be a little bit later in the show. You talk about them defensively. You got guys like let me pull up his picture here. Jahdae Barron and Anthony Hill, both who are up for the Nagurski Award. This defense is stacked everywhere. Everywhere you look, this defense is stacked.
Yep.
The preseason All-SEC team, they had 13 players selected the preseason All-SEC team. This team has been preparing for this moment in the SEC for quite some time. So I don't think being in the new conference is going to be a daunting task for them, just because they've built for it and they've got people. They've got players everywhere. The takeaway on offense is Quinn Ewers has always had injury problems.
Yes.
For me, if Quentin Ewers gets hurt again this year and they have to go to Arch Manning, I think all bets are off.
Sure.
I'm not sold on Manning being able to lead this team like Ewers can.
The one positive, though, with that for Arch is the fact that they are stacked at receiver.
True.
So that definitely benefits him.
So you talk about C.J. Baxter being lost for the season and Jaden Blue being the new guy. Well, just a reminder of who Jaden Blue is. He might have been the only backup running back that was put on the preseason awards watch list for the Doak Walker. Backup running backs don't get put on award watch lists like that.
Oh,
that's your backup. And he was the backup at the time he was put on the watch list.
Yep.
I can't think of a better situation to be in.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's look at the schedule then and just see how these players are going to stack up against now an SEC schedule. Starting on August the 31st, Colorado State.
Yep.
Then they play Michigan and UTSA, Louisiana Monroe, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, in Dallas, Red River rivalry. That is so hard to say quick. Then Georgia, Vanderbilt, Florida, Arkansas. I have that game circled. Vance, I already know where that's coming. Kentucky and A&M. First glance at the schedule, Cody, what are your thoughts?
I see 4 games on there that are the ones I have circled, obviously, that could be losses.
Yeah.
Michigan, Oklahoma, Georgia, Texas A&M. Obviously, I think Arkansas is going to be one of those games that's a dogfight for them because I think Arkansas looks at it heavier than Texas probably does for obvious well, in terms of this year, I think it's like that.
Sure.
But what really bothers me, like the SC or the LSU schedule, why the hell is Arkansas not the last game or at least second from last game on the schedule? I don't get it. But it's okay. I guess Arkansas and Missouri is going to be the rivalry.
I hate that.
But no, first of all, I want to commend Texas for this schedule booking.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Good God. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So when you look on, obviously Louisiana Monroe is the worst team in the country. So you got that. But when you look at the schedule, though, they earned a cupcake like that. They 100% earned it. UTSA, no matter what, is always a balling team. They are just good. They get good players, and the state of Texas in general is just awesome for football this year. You're going to see a lot of good teams come out of Texas this year.
Yeah.
I think that Colorado State obviously is easy. That's going to be an easy win for them. They're going to beat UTSA. They're going to beat Louisiana Monroe. They're going to beat Mississippi State. They're going to beat Vanderbilt, Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky. Those are games I really just see them winning them. At Michigan to early in the season, okay, Michigan lost a lot of players from last year winning the national championship. They did.
Yep.
But defensively, they are stacked. If there's a defense in the country that can shut down this Texas offense, Michigan will be one of the ones that I would write down in that category. Michigan's got a good team. Now, am I a believer that they're going to be good enough to beat Texas? Probably not. Because in all honesty, off the record, which I guess it's on the record if I'm saying it on here, I actually think Fresno State might go in and upset Michigan week 1.
Whoa.
I've been waiting for a time where I could say that on video so that at least it's out there if it happens.
Yeah.
But I could actually see that happening. But I think I'm going to give Texas that game right there. So I see them starting out 5-0 going into the Red River rivalry. And, Oklahoma has a good team on them. They have Danny Stutzman coming back, who should not have come back. The dude was NFL ready last year. And, he's a fantastic linebacker, and he loves to hate Texas.
Yeah.
So that is a game that is going to be fun, but I still think Texas takes it. You get the game with Georgia. Good God, what a freaking midseason matchup. That right there. Okay. So when you had Alabama LSU in 2011 that was labeled game of the century, if this isn't the closest thing to a dang game of the century, I don't know what is. This is just awesome. Because these are 2 teams that are good going into.
Right. You had Texas and Alabama last year. Now you have Texas and Georgia this year. They're jumping in the teeth of the SEC. Go ahead.
Yeah, and if this game was in Athens, I would say Texas drops it here. But with this being at home and more than likely a night game, I would think I actually could see Texas pulling this game out. I really could. I will say though, if there is a game that's going to be down to the wire, it's 100% this game. I don't really interesting.
Nope.
But really, the game that scares me the most on the schedule is them going to A&M to close the season out. because there is a chance, I'll just say it like that they're 11-0 going into Texas A&M.
Mm-mm.
And if they are, I know, but if they are, you know that Texas A&M is going to see that game, and they're going to. I don't care if A&M was 0-11 going into it.
Right.
A&M's going to do everything they can to ruin Texas' season.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think, regardless, if Texas goes 10-2 with the schedule this year, I think they're in the playoff. Either way, like I just see that happening for them because their schedule is good enough for them to get there.
Sure.
I mean, realistically, just a quick glance, I'm going to say that obviously I kind of said earlier for a lot of teams, but the floor for like I said, for Tennessee, the floor for them is 8-4. Could they go 12-0? Absolutely. 10-2 sounds better.
Yep.
So I'll stick at 11-1.
Okay. Chris, your thoughts?
I think Michigan's not going to be a contest.
Wow.
Yes, it's at the big house. Yes, it's got 106,000 fans. But I think Michigan is going to be reeling at that time. Remember, there are all kinds of reports coming out that the NCAA is fixing to get a hold of Michigan. So they could be deflated from that. Hopefully, these text messages that have come out supposedly between Sherrod Moore and Connor Stallions are fake.
I hope
if they're not,
good Lord, they're not.
if they're not fake, you got some serious issues with the Michigan coach. I don't know that he's ready to lead a program like that. I think Texas embarrasses Michigan. UTSA's down. They're going to be down this year. ULM, worst team in college football. Mississippi State, they're going to be playing Florida for the worst team in the SEC. And then it gets real. Red River rivalry. That's always a hype game for Texas. Always.
Oh, yeah.
I think Texas wins that game. They're just flat out better than Oklahoma.
Mm.
And then they followed up with Georgia. Is there another team in the country that has a 2-game stretch like that? Oklahoma and Georgia?
No. Heck no. And no bye week between it.
That exactly. So I think Georgia walks in there and beats them just because there's so much riding on the Red River rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
I think it carries over to the next week. I think Georgia beats them. But here's where it gets interesting for Texas. You're going on the road playing against the only team in the Southeastern Conference that has a winning.
God, I knew it. I knew it.
Hear me out. It's the only team that has a winning record against Texas in the SEC. I'm not saying Vanderbilt beats them. What I'm saying is you're following up Oklahoma and Georgia with a game that you should easily win. But I think the carryover from the exhaustion and the physical effort that it's going to take to win to play in those 2 games, I think it has an effect. I think Vanderbilt keeps that game surprisingly close. I think Texas still wins it, though. They're just better. They're just better. But I think that's a closer game than what people anticipate it being.
Sure.
Because of where it's at on the schedule, coming on the heels of Oklahoma, Georgia back to back.
So, Chris, let me ask you one question real quick. So, after they play Vanderbilt, which, so they get a bye week after that, then they have Florida at home. Do you think that this Texas team can beat Florida by at least 5 possessions?
Oh, I don't have a doubt.
I'm kind of feeling that too.
Florida's bad. Bad. And Texas
42-10, Texas 42-10. That's what I say.
I can see that.
And right, Vanderbilt, they get the bye week between Vanderbilt and Florida, so they get that week off.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get the cupcake in Florida. Yes, I said it. A cupcake in Florida. It's not going to be good for Arkansas either.
It's going to be rocking. They'll have to play. It'll be
I'm about to say, That stadium vibe is going to be awesome at Arkansas.
The vibe will be there.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think Arkansas can compete with that kind of talent.
Sure.
I mean,
Sure.
we see the reports that Arkansas's quarterbacks are throwing 8 interceptions in practice. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing here? But
hey, there's a silver lining, though. That means that Arkansas got 8 interceptions on defense.
This is true. And then Texas A&M, I think that's a really close ball game.
Oh, yeah.
In-state rivalry. Texas A&M been chomping at the bit to get their hands on Texas. I think they keep it close, but I have Texas winning that game.
Yeah.
All said, I see Texas with 1 SEC loss and the possibility of playing Georgia in the SEC championship, because there's going to be 2 other SEC teams with 1 loss, all of them coming to Georgia. So it's going to be a matter of who's ranked the highest at that point, who gets to the second game with Georgia. I think that'll be Texas.
There you go.
I
like it. So, warning. What you're about to hear from George Hancock is very, very Texas hate material.
Oh, it is.
You have been warned.
Oh, it is. Colorado State win. I think. Fine, I'm going to say it. At Michigan in the Big House, that's a 10-point loss to Texas. Michigan beats them by 10 in the Big House. There's not even going to be any kind of question on it. They pull away in the fourth quarter and never look back. UTSA, they're going to try to compete. They're not going to compete at all. Louisiana Monroe, the same thing. Mississippi State, there's going to be a question mark. It's not going to be cowbell country, so they're going to go to Austin and get shell shocked there. Oklahoma, in Dallas, they're going to be in Arlington. It'll be a very mixed crowd. That'll be a field goal ball game. If it may be a touchdown, but it'll be a shootout back and forth. I don't care what the defenses look like on each team. They both absolutely pick each other apart. High scoring ball game. One of them wins by a touchdown. I'm going to say I'll give Texas this one. Georgia, no contest. This is going to be a 17-point loss. But for Texas, Georgia is going to go in there. Absolute Kirby Smart is going to go in there charged up, and they are going to absolutely shellac Texas. And that it's, I mean, it's going to be close, but they're going to pull away. That's just what it is. Georgia has a better secondary than Texas does. Therefore, Quinn Ewers isn't just going to be pass happy and be able to throw the ball. And Georgia's defensive line is not going to let anybody run against them. So it's going to be very tough for Texas to have an offense against Georgia. Vanderbilt, they're going to play them tough through the first half, and then Georgia's going to pull away. They're going to win by probably 3 touchdowns. Florida's probably going to be about the same way. Arkansas, Texas is probably going to win this ball game, but hear me when I say this. This is a toss-up. This is an absolute toss-up. There will be people lined up for all day, all around the stadium, all ready for it. I wouldn't be surprised if people egg the bus when they pull up. I mean, it's crazy. Last year was crazy. Not last year, but last time that they came to Fayetteville, people remember it was a 40-20 loss, and they got shellacked in Fayetteville. Now they weren't running all cylinders. They didn't have Quinn Ewers, but
sure.
Is Texas going to be gassed? We'll see. Kentucky, we'll see there, and A&M. So altogether, I have 10-2 is the ceiling, 9-3 is very realistic with the loss to Michigan. So
I like it.
there you have it. Yes, Texas hate. Correct. It will always be Texas hate, and I don't care. Texas fans, come at me. If you want to have it out, go ahead. Comment below. I don't care.
Hey George, give us your horns. How do you do your horns?
Absolute horns down, just like this.
Emotional damage. Emotional damage.
Yeah, it is emotional damage. I mean, look, and here's the deal. I love the fact that the SEC said we're not going to penalize for that.
I'm curious if someone will throw a flag for it, though.
If someone throws a flag for it, good God, I will lose my Arkansas ever-loving mind. So, that being said,
that's not very much
to
lose, though.
I know it's not. That being said, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit the hate button. I don't care. Just react and somewhat. If you want to take this and react to it and call us a bunch of idiots, I don't care. Do it, please. Tag us. Your opinion matters not. I have the microphone and you don't. So, with that being said, this is a preview of Texas. This is puke. This has been the Golden Boot Podcast. We appreciate you guys. Stay golden. We will see you next time.
Peace.